Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. This is the Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast.
G'day everybody, welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Hope you're having a great day. Look guys, it's an interesting day today. We've seen a sea of green across the top 10 and obviously I keep you guys pretty up to date as to what's going on from a price point of view, from a technical analysis point of view as well. And I also have a special guest with us today that I'll bring on just in a moment. This special guest is a big supporter of the show. I think my very first guest that I ever had, and he is the man who holds one of the projects I hold dearly to my heart. So I'll bring him on in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to come through and take you through the market just quickly. If we look at Bitcoin, we have seen a bounce, about 5% today. So nothing astronomical in terms of crypto, but we are starting to see that pullback. Keep in mind one thing I'm looking for. I'm waiting for a pullback into 8,000. From there, we'll see if we can see that small bearish candle for potential entry back into this market for the downside potential. We've got to hedge ourselves. We've got to manage our portfolios, and we've got to be objective in the way we think. Now, the markets are not uptrending, and I know that you'll probably hear a lot of people singing out today saying that the bulls are back, the market is going to recover, and moon landings are imminent. Not here. We are objective in the way that we trade, guys, and I'm going to continue to be like that. Ethereum, again, a strong day up around that 10% mark. It's pulled back quite some way. It's back up into that cradle zone around that 8-hour time frame. You know that cradle zone is around in the 10 and 20 period moving average. That's what we like to trade. Now, if you don't know what the cradle zone is, you need to get across to tradercobb.com. We've got a free month on our Market View daily video subscription service, so you can jump on there. It's basically where you can see videos from me 6 days a week, go through all the archives, and you can actually have a listen and look at the hugely popular Journey of the Apprentice series, where I take a couple of brand new traders and mold them week in and week out into becoming the best trader they can be. They track their progress in that series. So Ethereum back into that downtrend, pulling back into that cradle zone, looking really, really nice. That big hedge that we've got, or that I have, on Bitcoin Cash is playing out really, really well. Now, it hit that 868 support level. We are bouncing from that point right now, which is probably expected because it is a significant support level, and we are overextended from the averages. Now, I get asked the question, have I moved my stop on that trade? The answer is absolutely categorically no. It is a hedge. I did not scale out. I have not done anything because I am more than happy to get stopped out of this trade at a 1% loss, because if it's a 1% loss in my portfolio, it's a larger gain in my, so if it's a 1% loss in my trading account, it's a larger percentage gain in my portfolio. Yes, it's a hedge. Is it a perfect hedge against my portfolio? No, it's not perfect. It's been really good because Bitcoin Cash falls harder than Bitcoin, and it's led the market for the most part. So we're still in that, still punching along with that. EOS, very boring, very sideways. A lot of chatter out there about EOS and what's coming up. I'm sort of taking my head away from the chatter and just focusing on the charts for the time being. Cardano, rather boring as well. Lumen has had a very nice pullback indeed. It's actually pulled back into a range, into what I call a Fibonacci booster type setup, and it looks quite nice. Now, whether it falls from here or not will be the big question. What's it going to do? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it had quite a big hard pullback last night, that's for sure. Neo looking relatively boring as well, pulling back a little bit. IOTA has had a big pop up, 17%. That, along with Cardano, are the two top performers in the top 10 thus far. And we've got Ripple back into that support level, that support break, that Bitcoin breakout that was earlier in the week. And also Litecoin has pulled back quite significantly, a 7.43% pullback. So that's the top 10. That's the market. That's where we're at. Now, you guys know I went to Consensus. You know that I talked to a lot of people. I've interviewed some pretty cool, pretty high up guests in the crypto and tech world. Now, one thing I want to bring to your attention is this. When I speak to these people, very rarely, actually not at all, are they concerned about the price of Bitcoin. They're not concerned about the fluctuations in the market. They're not in this space for pure financial gains. And I want to bring in my next guest, whose name is Jamie Skella. That is right. It is Jamie Skella of Horizon State. He's with us tonight or today. And basically, Jamie, I want to ask you the same question, mate, that I've asked across all the guests. Are you concerned about the fluctuations in price that we're seeing now? And welcome back.
Hello, Craig. How are you? Yeah, look, from the perspective of people involved in the blockchain landscape, to build, to actually create products. The price is relatively irrelevant. Obviously, some of us are investors, a smaller percentage are traders, and so for those people on an individual level, sure, the price matters. But in terms of us being able to achieve the kinds of objectives that we've set for ourselves, create the kind of change that we want to see, no, it just doesn't really matter at this point in time. And in fact, when the market's down, the sort of the memes and the talks of going to the moon and Lambos quietens down, which is great for us because we can get on building without the distractions.
Yeah, well, it does seem a lot like, I mean, I know that for me, for example, to relate the what you were just suggesting about when the market quietens down or goes down, the noise, if you will, sort of disappears. Now, I find the same when the markets are sort of sideways, when there's not a great deal of trading opportunities going on. Well, guess what benefits? My business, my family, because I've got a lot more time. We've got a lot on our plates. Anybody who's in this space has an awful lot on their plate. So if there's one less thing to consider, it makes your life a whole lot easier. And we are seeing the markets are down, but that's okay because the space as a whole, I mean, all you've got to do is, be around the people that are creating within this space. And I know that you are, Jamie, and you are one of those people to know that, look, I've never been more certain of anything in my life as far as the technology. So I'm not concerned about the price. Obviously, I'm a trader. So, whether it goes up or down, I can trade. If it goes sideways, well, as I say, I don't do a great deal. But as long as there's some movement, I can still manage my portfolio quite happily anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, look, Jamie, good to have you back, mate. So there's some interesting things going on at Horizon State, and I hear that there's something that you want to let the listeners know about that they could potentially benefit from. So why don't you tell us?
Yeah, look, so we're in the process of participating in Huobi's. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think they're currently the world's number 3 exchange in terms of overall volume. Huobi, they have a sister or partner exchange which they also run called Hadax, and Hadax is really an exchange used to, prop up interesting lower cap tokens and coins that haven't necessarily made the big time yet, or haven't had the financing to be able to list on some of those larger exchanges. It still does great volume. I mean, as soon as an exchange is doing sort of 200 or 300 million, it's contending for a top 10 exchange spot. And Hadax is currently doing in the range of 100. So it's not insignificant, but we're joining the ranks of another 15 or 20 blockchain startups for a community listing initiative. And so in about 12 hours from now, anybody that has a Huobi or a Hadax account who has been KYC verified will be able to vote for us, vote for Horizon State, our token HST, to be listed on Hadax, which would be a big leg up for people that do intend to trade, or that generally have bright expectations for the kinds of success that Horizon State is going to be able to work towards. The process is pretty simple. Once you're signed up and you're KYC verified on Hadax or Huobi, head to hadax.com/vote, and you'll need to buy some of their native asset, which is called HT. It's the Huobi token. And once you've got that, you can vote. It costs 0.1 HT per vote, and you get all of that back after the voting process. So it's literally for that voting process, and you get your cash back after that.
Excellent. Well, look, on this show, we're all about you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So why don't you give us a little bit of information about where you're going with the project, what's been going on, things that you obviously give me what I can, give the listeners what you can, but keep yourself safe at all times, mate. But what can you tell us about where Horizon State is, where it's going, any progress that's going on at the moment that we should be aware of? Because I know I'm a big fan of the project. I know a lot of people on the show are, and for a lot of people, because we have recently taken on a huge listener base in different parts of the world. So there will be a large number of people out there that are sitting there going, what on earth is Horizon State? Now, what I would like to know is, where are you guys at the moment? I know there's been some amazing progress through Indonesia. I know that there's a lot going on. What can you tell us and the listeners that might tuck them into getting stuck into your project and reading a lot more about it?
In terms of a bit of a recap, where we've just come from, look, over the past sort of 6 to 9 months, partnerships with SAP and various United Nations IGOs, we've been doing a lot of work in non-governmental space in regards to utilising the blockchain for voting and democratic processes. So we're on the path to empowering around 90 million Indonesians, members of a socio-religious organisation called the NU. We're in talks with some European football clubs. We've got ASX listed businesses on the cards, talking to local councils, and most recently, we are actually deep in talks with a national government to run their national election in the European region. So not necessarily a part of the EU, but hopefully we'll have some more great detail on that very soon.
That's mega. And just a couple of things that I think are important that a lot of listeners are going to want to know. The current market cap is sitting right around 20 million. The circulating supply is 32 million, and there's a total supply of 48 million. So we're talking about a token that has a low market cap right now and a low supply. So you put those two things together, you research the token itself to see how it links back into the business and how it's to be used. And I think that a lot of you that haven't already looked at Horizon State will probably start to get quite interested in it, because it's a great project for the side of things that we can actually make some change here. But it's also, from an investor point of view, it has a huge amount of potential and is definitely one of the, I think, best kept secrets. I'd prefer it not to be a best kept secret, of course, Jamie. But I think that there's still a lot of time for growth and for people to find out about Horizon State. So there's two things. One, you can look into the project. Two, really important, jump on, of course, for the Horizon State for Huboy. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that exactly right. But what Jamie just said, if you need to listen through it again, please do. Now, Jamie, if you do get in this top, if you win or wherever you need to be, what are you doing for the people that are voting?
Huobi or Huboy, however it's pronounced, neither of us are probably right, I'm sure. They'll be airdropping around 400,000 HST. So all we need to do is actually come ranked more or less as the top three for European/Australian blockchain startups that are attempting to have their token listed through this community voting process. So we don't even need to win. We don't even need to come first in Australia or Europe. We need to come in the top three tokens for the European and Australian regions. And if that happens, we will be listed. And if that happens, then 400,000 HST gets airdropped between all of the people who voted for us.
Now, just to put that in perspective, ladies and gentlemen, that is $250,000 worth of Horizon State. So it's a worthy cause. It's a worthy project. Thank you so much, Jamie, for letting us know about what was going on there, how to get involved. And look, what's really important for you guys is, if you're not already, to go across to Twitter, get Horizon State on Twitter, on Facebook, and find Jamie Skella, Skella. And plug in, what's the Telegram group, Jamie?
Yeah, just head to t.me/Horizon State. The team members are in there quite often.
Now, if you have any issues around getting into that competition, then they are the places to go and find out more. $250,000 of Horizon State up for grabs. You get to support an amazing project. And with a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work from Jamie and his team, hopefully this project sees some phenomenal growth over the next few years. So, Jamie Skella, thank you so much for being back on the show. I believe you were my first guest, so it's great to have you back on. Appreciate the support that you've given us, and we'll continue to show you support when we can.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Appreciate the support as per usual.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. Check out tradercobb.com because experience matters.